Yo, welcome to another show, a one-man show, ENT. I'm your host, Brandon, and here we talk boxing and pretty much any damn thing else we want to talk about. Before we get started, I want you to subscribe to the channel, like, dislike. If you got something to say, leave it in the comments. So just starting off tonight, we're going to talk about the fight coming up between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. Now, even though the fight hasn't been officially announced or signed, from what I've been seeing through various outlets, I do believe that this fight is going to happen, and it's going to happen this year, by the end of this year. They're saying October. Who knows? We'll see. Now, anybody that knows me outside of this video knows that I'm an Errol Spence Jr. fan. But surprise, surprise, I'm a fan of boxing. So I'm also a fan of Terrence Bud Crawford. Now, in this crazy world, we have to make choices. Now, with that being said, I love boxing. It's my favorite sport, really the only sport that I watch intently. I'm not a basketball watching, football watching person. I don't really care for team sports. I like one-on-one. That way, if I don't win, I have nobody else to blame but myself. But anyway, that's enough about me. Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Bud Crawford. Let's break them down. Errol Spence Jr., 3-belt champion. And he earned those belts the hard way. I don't care who you're a fan of, whether you Showtime, PBC, or if you ESPN Top Rank. Let's stop all that right now. A promotion is a promotion. That is a promotion. That is a business. So any decision made should not be taken personally by anyone who call themselves a fan. That's not your area to worry about. Now, when it comes down to the fight and how I see it going, like I said before, I'm an Errol Spence Jr. fan. Now, if I'm studying the film for each person, I only see this fight going one way, toe to toe. Errol's gonna bring that fight to Terrence as soon as the bell rings. And what that means for Terrence is we're gonna see how well he is on that back foot, turning those angles, switching from orthodox to southpaw, whatever he decides to do. But one thing I do know is people take for granted Errol's footwork as well. Because when Terrence moves, Errol knows how to move and put his punches where he wants them to be. And if he's close enough to you, it doesn't matter where you run, he's going to be able to make a slight half step, adjust, catch you to the body, keep banging and banging and banging. Now, if that's the scenario, we're pretty much looking at a similar scenario as to what happened to Ugas. Because people always wonder, what if Errol didn't have the eye injury that kept him from fighting Manny Pacquiao? I honestly think Errol's eye injury saved Pacquiao's life because Ugas about beat him to death in there. That was an ugly fight for Pacquiao to go out on like that. You know, that's my opinion. I'm pretty sure somebody gonna have something to say about it. But the destruction of Ugas showed me all I needed to see. I mean, let's just run it down. Errol won his first title from Kell Brook. Went over to England to do it. Hard, tough fight. Kell Brook looked good in that fight. And if it wasn't for the stoppage in the 11th round, and if it went all 12, you know they was going to rob Errol over there because the fight was too close. Errol winning over there on a decision would have been almost as shocking as when Kell Brook beat Sean Porter by a split decision, I believe, when he came over to America to fight him. But ironically, when Terrence Crawford went on Sean Porter's podcast, they never speak about, the Kell Brook Sean Porter fight. They always compare Errol opponents to Terrence's opponents, which Porter has fought all three of them. And if I do believe the only one in the welterweight division who's fought every possible opponent that they could have. So kudos to Sean Porter. But what I mean when I say that is this. If you really think about it, why didn't Sean Porter try to get his belt back from Kell Brook? And instead he opted to go fight for the vacant title that was vacated by Keith Thurman when he fought Danny Garcia. It seemed like he was never interested in unifying. He only wanted a title shot or just a title. But that seems kind of familiar to what Bud did, because everybody know Bud was undisputed at 140 pounds. He could have fought anybody. You've heard the stories from other outlets like this that follow boxing. He should have fought Errol Spence a couple of years ago, but he chose the WBO route. Now, we all know that you can get the fight that you want if you want it to happen, i.e. Floyd Pacquiao, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. The list goes on. So it makes me wonder, what is it about Errol Spence that everybody seemed to want to stay away? And now he has something that everybody wants. So you have everybody calling and saying all types of crazy stuff about him. Keith Thurman didn't even look Errol's way when he had the WBA and the WBC. Matter of fact, if this microphone was Errol Spence, then I'm Keith Thurman. So what are we really talking about here? I know that Errol Spence is going to put on a show against Terrence Crawford. And it's really little that anybody can tell or show me that Terrence Crawford has done against anybody as tough as Errol. We cannot compare the opponents. Okay, he fought Sean Porter. Errol Spence, you know how you get cake icing and it might be a little bit hard and you can't get it squeezed out and you got to knead it and rub on it to get it soft, beat on it a little bit? That's how Errol Spence did Sean Porter for Terrence Crawford. And then plus, let's just be real. Sean Porter didn't fight Terrence Crawford as hard as he fought Errol Spence. He went in there to lose to his friend. That's what it looked like to me. And then you got your daddy stopping it. I don't know what the industry's problem is with Errol Spence. I don't get it. Here you have a young black fighter that's calling his shots, telling you what he's gonna do. He said that he's going to go collect all of those belts, and he's done so thus far. I have no reason to doubt that he's not going to finish the job. And Terrence Crawford just happens to be the fighter that's in the way of that. Let's just be real, people. He could have been fought for either of those other titles that he did not have. Terrence Crawford, I'm talking about. He chose to go that WBO route. They put the WBO on a platter for him. He fought Jeff Horn. Who? Have you seen him since? Okay then. Name one fight for that WBO belt other than the Sean Porter fight. I mean, you fought Amir Khan. Right. Now let's run down Errol's resume. And I'm going to keep it real. I ain't skipping nothing. Kell Brook. A bunch of title defenses that he had to take because with nobody get in the ring. But he had the IBF after he beat Kell Brook. He beat Sean Porter and got the WBC. No disputes. He won those fights. Fair and square. And he beat the hell out of Ugas. Those are the 3 belts he got right there. The hard way. Hard fought, good matchup, stylistic fights. Terrence Crawford, Jeff Horn. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Errol has done all the heavy lifting in this weight class. He beat a car accident. If the street couldn't knock him out, I don't think a punch will. Y'all saw how clean Ugas hit him. He went in the ropes and wobbled and came right back and beat that man identically to what Mayweather did to Mosley when he stung his ass. He went to work. Errol damaged that boy. And all hats off to Ugas. I shouldn't call him a boy. He's a grown man. He damaged that man. We're going to see. And if Terrence somehow wins, hats off to him. But if you ask me, well, my money is on strap season. Man down.